need. To move with purpose. To shop without stress. To send without fear. To pay without delay. For every rider chasing time. For every home that needs restocking. For every voice that needs connection. For every dream that needs delivery. Now, one app brings it all together.
Supercab, move smart, ride safe, supermarket, groceries, gadgets, everything. Supercash, airtime, bills, transfers, done. Super logistics, fast, secure, right to your door.
It's more than an app. It's your movement, your market, your money, your connection, all in one place. Supergo, one app for services endless. Download Supergo today. Live free, live fast, live smart.
No time to shop, no stress. With Supergo, your groceries comes to you. Partner with trusted vendors, verified stores, no delay, no excuses, just values. Supergo Supermarket, your market now in your hands. With Supergo, your ride is comfortable, easy and convenient. Supergo is more than an app. It's a movement, moving people, powering threats, delivering value.
Every day begins with a need. To move with purpose. To shop without stress. To send without fear. To pay without delay. For every rider chasing time. For every home that needs restocking. For every voice that needs connection. For every dream that needs delivery. Now, one app brings it all together.
Supercab, move smart, ride safe, supermarket, groceries, gadgets, everything. Supercash, airtime, bills, transfers, done. Super logistics, fast, secure, right to your door.
It's more than an app. It's your movement, your market, your money, your connection, all in one place. Supergo, one app for services endless. Download Supergo today. Live free, live fast, live smart.
No time to shop, no stress. With Supergo, your groceries comes to you. Partner with trusted vendors, verified stores, no delay, no excuses, just values. Supergo Supermarket, your market now in your hands. With Supergo, your ride is comfortable, easy and convenient. Supergo is more than an app. It's a movement, moving people, powering threats, delivering value.
Every day begins with a need. To move with purpose. To shop without stress. To send without fear. To pay without delay. For every rider chasing time. For every home that needs restocking. For every voice that needs connection. For every dream that needs delivery. Now, one app brings it all together.
Supercab, move smart, ride safe, supermarket, groceries, gadgets, everything. Supercash, airtime, bills, transfers, done. Super logistics, fast, secure, right to your door.
It's more than an app. It's your movement, your market, your money, your connection, all in one place. Supergo, one app for services endless. Download Supergo today. Live free, live fast, live smart.
No time to shop, no stress. With Supergo, your groceries comes to you. Partner with trusted vendors, verified stores, no delay, no excuses, just values. Supergo Supermarket, your market now in your hands. With Supergo, your ride is comfortable, easy and convenient. Supergo is more than an app. It's a movement, moving people, powering threats, delivering value.
Do you want to score 280 and above in JAMB? At Taraba Business School, we can make your dream come through. Register now for our JAMB and CBT training. Intensive JAMB and WACE coaching classes with experienced teachers is ongoing. You will also be trained on computer-based training, CBT. Visit Taraba Business School today. We are located opposite Civil Service Commission, 183 Hamarua Way, Jalingo, Taraba State. You can call the following numbers for inquiries: 080 602 69140, 070 634 28464, 080 606 60861. Do you want to score 280 and above in JAMB? At Taraba Business School, we can make your dream come through. Register now for our JAMB and CBT training. Intensive JAMB and WACE coaching classes with experienced teachers is ongoing. You will also be trained on computer-based training, CBT. Visit Taraba Business School today. We are located opposite Civil Service Commission, 183 Hamarua Way, Jalingo, Taraba State. You can call the following numbers for inquiries: 080 602 69140, 070 634 28464, 080 606 60861. Do you want to score 280 and above in JAMB? At Taraba Business School, we can make your dream come through. Register now for our JAMB and CBT training. Intensive JAMB and WACE coaching classes with experienced teachers is ongoing. You will also be trained on computer-based training, CBT. Visit Taraba Business School today. We are located opposite Civil Service Commission, 183 Hamarua Way, Jalingo, Taraba State. You can call the following numbers for inquiries: 080 602 69140, 070 634 28464, 080 606 60861.
Good morning, you're welcome to the Sun TV Morning Show. My name is Ibrahim Minor Joda. It's a wonderful Tuesday morning. Today is the 30th of December 2025. And this morning, I would like us to look at those things we call resolutions, New Year resolutions. Think back if you had one at the beginning of the year and see how many do you still remember that you made. And the new year is coming, and I believe a lot of us will make a lot of resolutions. Now, my advice, I'm not saying you should take it, I'm not also saying you should discard it. You don't have to wait for a new year, you don't have to wait for a new day, you don't have to wait for a new month, you don't have to wait for any special hour to make a resolution. Every day is a new day, every day is a new opportunity. So today being 30th of December, don't wait till the 1st. You can make a resolution to do something today. This is the Sun TV Morning Show, and today we have resolved to ensure that we give you the best in news, information, analysis, politics, sports, whatever it is that will get you educated and informed. And with me this morning, on my left is Mr. Iradan Ekwekwen, the Director of News and Public Affairs on Sun TV. Good morning.
Good morning, compliments of the season.
Yes. Also with me is one of our rising stars on Sun TV. Is now turning to one of the faces of Sun TV.
Of course.
He is Mr. Albert Naphtali Bello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Nigeria.
You're welcome to the Some TV show. I hope you've not been getting calls from the people of the other, since they see your face on TV every time. I'm just asking.
That one is
Personal.
is normal. To some extent, I have been receiving a lot of calls and some other, but it's beyond just the screen.
So I hope you let them know whatever that comes out. There are people also here that they are behind the scene, so that you don't take all the chicken alone. Thank you very much. You're welcome to the morning show. It's good. It's good, and let's talk a little. Mr. Ara,
Yes.
What resolutions did you make January 1st? You know, we were together. What resolutions did you make? That is, if you remember.
Well, I remembered one. The one that I resolved that somehow I'll have to go to the farm and cultivate some crops in 2025, and I did. To a very large extent, I kept to that part of the resolution. But there are so many of them that I don't even remember whether I made any resolution like that or not.
Okay, Natalie, what about you? Did you make New Year resolutions, and did you still remember them?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It has been one of a constant thing, particularly to me, in almost every year, and more importantly, 2025. This is a year that almost I'm done with studies, NYC, and many others. So
You're now in the labor market.
I'm now in the labor market. And to some extent, what I've set on grounds to pursue, I think is almost there are 5, but I think it's just one that is still on the process.
Okay.
So I think in as much as I've not achieved it wholeheartedly, and the year is ending, I believe January will come in with a very surprise.
Definitely, that's a good one. If you can have 5 and 4 over 5 is a very good score. To me, I don't make New Year resolutions. I just resolve to do whatever I want to do any time of the year, any time of the day, and it works with me because I remember in the past, I would say by next year I will stop doing this or I will do this, and that day, the first 2 days,
Then after some time,
it becomes a burden because you are not ready.
That's one thing.
because you are not ready. You just follow the trail. Well, it's good.
I have this elder brother that in that year he resolved that he will be going for morning jog every day. So I think it was on the 2nd or 3rd, he left home well kitted and went for jogging. Then like 40 minutes later, I received a call. Please, where are you? I said, please bring the car and pick me.
You know, one thing, I love what you mentioned. The readiness is what really matters.
Yeah.
A lot of people are beginning to I will do this, I will change my behavior, I will do this, I will do that. But they are not ready.
You're not ready.
So immediately while you start, it's a process.
Yes.
And every step matters.
Yeah.
That's why we keep on advising both the young, the old, and anyone within the cycle. You know that beyond just saying things with mouth, there are a lot of energy that is attached to make this thing come into accomplishment.
Yeah.
So the readiness is what is important. We still have 2 days to the new year. So whenever you are doing whatever you want to decide this year, talking to everybody, now you keep your eyes. There's what we call forecasting. You look at it from the longer side of it, and then you prepare yourself towards it, because there are a lot of energy attached. There are a lot of resources, be it human and all that thing that will come around. So definitely the readiness will keep you inclined. So that whenever you find anything around, most of the intricacies around, you will still you have a step ahead. So you press towards a goal. So you are pressing towards this goal. Whatever you find on the way going, because you are ready for it, it will not absorb your mind and it will change your thinking.
That is why I would say for bachelors like you, if your next year resolution is to marry, you have to start looking for a fiancé right away.
This is
a fellow director of program has said, if you want to get married in 2026 and you just make the resolution now without taking into cognizance what you have done in the past 5 years, I think it is wrong.
Yes.
You understand? Because the success of what you're about to go into matters a lot. You don't just take decision, I want to buy a car. When you don't know how you're going to fuel the car, you must be doing something in the past 2-3 years that is going to sustain you buying a car. So it is important at times when you make New Year resolution, you should understand that I'm not making this resolution simply because this is the end of 2025 and 2026 is coming and I want to marry 2026 without taking into cognizance what
you have money to rent an apartment.
All those things are into consideration.
You have a job that to sustain.
Yes. Do you even have the character?
The character.
You understand?
Yeah.
This is particularly to bachelors in the house.
And sprinters too.
Yeah, in the house.
Okay, thank you very much. And for those who their religion or tradition allows to take a second wife, let us not restrict it to only bachelors. So, well, let us go to the Nigerian Tribune. I like to start with. That's where the major story says troops neutralized 80 terrorists, rescued 34 victims in multi-state operation. The Nigerian Army says troops have neutralized over 80 terrorists, rescuing 34 kidnapped civilians, apprehending dozens of criminals in coordinated operations between December 25 and December 29. The credible Army headquarters source told the news agency of Nigeria that the successes were recorded across Borno, Adamawa, Sokoto, Katsina, Niger, Zamfara, Plateau, Delta, Cross River, and the FCT. In Borno, the sources said airstrikes and follow-up precision operations at Soro-Wolo in Bama local government area and surrounding area neutralized 19 terrorists, destroyed logistical bases, and disputed ISWAP and JAS network. It said subsequent operations in Gulumba, Ghana, Kumshe, Kashomiri, and Chongolokura resulted in the neutralization of 34 additional terrorists by intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance identified for their value. So we can see that across the country between 25th to 29th, they were able to go to take the war to these terrorists. And I think the result is there because we had a relatively peaceful Christmas period across the country when it comes to the issue of terrorism. So, kudos to them. What do we have to say about that? Because when we clap for the Americans for the airstrike, we also have to clap for our military for doing some of this job.
This is a feat that should be commended, just like you've earlier mentioned. It is a good one. Commendations to the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We look forward to this being sustained. There is this aspect of that report that caught my attention, and I like it. The one that talk about precision strikes.
Right.
You know, that one goes a long way in reducing the damage in manpower and even equipment.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we should follow, we should do more of those precision airstrike than taking unnecessary damage in human and taking the fight to their base is something that should be sustained. We look forward to more peaceful Nigeria as time goes on, now that we have the collaboration of international communities and big countries like US. We look forward to neighboring countries, Chad, Cameroon, Niger Republic, Benin, coming to the aid of Nigeria and for their own benefits too. You know, there are instances that people seem to forget that countries like Ghana and Benin Republic play a vital role in this fight, considering that they don't have Boko Haram and other.
Like they are beginning to have attack of Boko Haram.
Okay. And the fact that that border is a doorway through which equipment can be smuggled into the hinterland of Nigeria, those people too will need to sit up. If your neighbor's house is on fire, you will not be able to sleep well. So it is important for us to be our brother's keeper, be on the lookout for each other as African nations, and civilians too will have to, their role too in this must be commended. I saw the part that talk about kinetic, non-kinetic approach used in these intelligence gathering has a lot to do with the civilians, the member of the society who are not into the security architecture. So all this, all hands must be on deck to see to it that we put an end to these menace.
Okay, Naphtali,
looking at all this thing that has been happening from the 25th down to this date, I will first of all like to commend the effort of the international community, like the US. What the US really does to me personally is to restore hope to the Nigerians. You know, and when you look at it, the former days, like whenever the Nigerian military brought in information like this, that worth celebrating, people don't even believe the stories. But with the coming of the international community like the US, it reached from that particular period, like the 25th special gift that is given to Nigeria. It seems like you go on the internet, even from the comment you're getting from things that whenever news like this comes in, people are beginning to have confidence in the nation, and they are believing the reports they're having. And with this, I know the people that are involved, you know, one thing with Nigeria before, we even like confidence, we believe that anything that comes from the government is more of lies than the actual. So but what really happened today, we are seeing people praying for the country with the whole of their heart. There's conviction that whatever they are doing is coming directly from their heart. So if a country will believe in the leadership of the masses will believe in the leadership of the country, and alongside the ordinary person can pray for the country, and then you see the result will be positive. So we commend also the effort of both the Minister of Defense and likewise the service chiefs for all the effort. This is where you see when the land army are doing their job, you find out that the air force are also bringing the thing. Not like before that things will come in and go without any effort. So there's a synergy in all the aspect of the security architecture. And particularly, you know how Nigeria has been during Christmas and many other celebrations. We hear of a lot of tragedies, but this time around, it's curtailed to some extent. So we say, let it be the new surprise, because the president has been promising that things will change for the good. And so now that it's beginning to affect our lives positively, we pray that it is going to be a continuous process. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take a similar story on the Punch, just to help buttress what you have said. We have US airstrike. Defense headquarters steps up watch on fleeing terrorists. That is the point. So the Nigerian military is monitoring Boko Haram and Islamic State for West African province fighters who are fleeing their hideouts following the recent United States strikes. U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Christmas Day that the American military conducted lethal strikes against Islamic ISIS targets in northwest Nigeria. So now, there's a report here that the chairman. There's a report here that the chairman of the Traditional Council in Go West local government area of Benue State, according to raised concern about what he describes as an influx of armed herders into some communities after the attack. We also have community leaders in Tangaza, good other part of Ilila. In Sokoto State, also said there have been noticeable dislocation of movement by the armed groups. Some say the suspected bandits were seen moving in smaller groups towards remote forest corridors, while others are believed to be attempting to cross into neighboring border communities. However, senior military officers who spoke with the Punch said the military was tracking the movement of the terrorists. He said they know they are fleeing, they have information, and they are working on it. So as it is now, Nigeria is on the front foot, and I think these terrorists will begin to shift base. They'll be destabilized and the rest of it. So this is the time to ensure that they hit them before they settle into, because I know these guys understand these forests and communities very well. Before you know, they leave Sokoto, and in the next 2-3 days, they are in the state. They are in Benue State or in Plateau State or in Taraba State. They understand the terrain. They know how to move. So these are the things that now our ground forces must ensure. And then the communities, there must be synergy between the security agencies and these communities, a means of communication. Because the villagers, the community people on ground will easily cite these people. So let there be a channel of communication. Let the traditional rulers be consulted. What is going on in your community? Are there movement? Are there strange faces? So before, if we begin to do this, I think it will be easy for the military to get information of the movement of these criminals.
Yeah, I think that was the concept that nations like US used some years ago during former President Bush, when he described the action as smoking them out. When you strike, when you attack an enemy and at his base and he relocates, whatever it is that is left in that base will have to relocate to another place to regroup and to reinforce an attack again. So to annihilate him completely is to sustain the pursuit. You don't allow him rest, you don't allow him regroup, you keep pursuing him until he's completely annihilated. So it is important for the ground forces to continue the support that they need from the superior intelligence gathering architecture that US have should be given. The ground intelligence too, just like you said, the local hunters, people that go into the bush to look for firewood and other things like that. There's a way these people see movements that look strange.
Yeah.
They understand that these people may not be ordinary headsmen, the way they are behaving, the way they are doing. They go about maybe with motorcycles, at times you will sight them carrying guns like that. So when a call for rescue comes like that, at times you experience delay from the bureaucracy or the bottlenecks that exist. They will tell you, okay, you have to inform the commissioner of police, and the commissioner of police will have to take order from Abuja and other things like that. I think if there is a way we can expedite action in deploying immediately when such calls come. Before you receive directive from Abuja, they must have gone kilometers away, longer, farther into the bush. So it is important for this mop-up action to be sustained and in such a way that is going to yield results.
I think that's a good one, actually.
Yes, it is very clear that whenever you are doing something for the safety of the people, you work along with the people. But you know, it is not everybody that is involved, but there are sensitive people that plays a vital role. More importantly, the leadership of this particular local environment, like the king and some other key players, and also the use of the local vigilantes and the hunters. Not just them, but people that understood the architecture of that particular location we are going into. And then, you know, it is security-wise stuff. That is why it is important to work along with people that have expertise in these things like that. The coming of the new CJ, the new Minister of Defense, we've seen a lot. That is why it is important to give somebody that has experience over a particular thing and is ready to help the matter. And so, Nigerian government, and when he comes into the picture, we were told that he gave an instance, stuff like that, to the men. Wherever difficulties are around, they should know how to tackle it. And tackling it involves working along with the community leaders and many other people. And so far so good. Yeah, even in the case of places like Benue, Nasarawa, and many other places that are receiving the actual shock the most, we are beginning to hear a lot of positive information. So we pray alongside whatever it is on ground, because the security is not everything that will come out, but whatever is on ground that is sustaining this thing, giving us this good result, it should also it should be sustained, and people should come together as no matter what, information should not be played with. Any vital information should be shared to the needed people, so that they will act fast on it, and it will help to curtail whatsoever it may arise at the cost of not giving out the information. So we're happy with what we are seeing, and we continue praying that it should be sustained. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Well, with this, let's move to political stories. Let's go to the Vanguard. Yesterday, the PDP crisis, on the Vanguard, PDP crisis, Wike attacks Makinde Fubara. We know Wike is an interviewer. He's the media's delight. I knew the moment Makinde made that statement, I knew we should be ready for press briefing by the minister. And true to who he is, he did it. And yesterday it was quite. I followed some parts up to the point where I had things to do, the grid shutdown. I was following, especially when he was talking about the issues with Makinde and the PDP and the rest of it. Let us look at it from the. He said the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has attacked Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State for saying Wike promised to hold the People's Democratic Party (PDP) for President Bola Tinubu. Wike denied the allegation, also took on his successor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State, noting that his defection from the PDP to the APC came late, without any established political structure to support his new party. And at a media interaction in Ibadan last Tuesday, Makinde said his relationship with Wike collapsed after the Rivers State governor made what he described as unsolicited declaration during a meeting with President Tinubu. Okay. Meanwhile, but when Wike spoke, he said during his end of the year media chat, he noted that the meeting has nothing to do with PDP, but was meant to show support for Tinubu's leadership and assuring of continued support. According to him, his support for Tinubu has never been hidden and did not require any special meeting. I just want to go to the point where he said, because what Wike said was that the reason why Seyi Makinde was not happy was simply because his ministerial nominee was not favored.
Look at it now.
So Wike Makinde was displeased because Tinubu did not approve his nominee for a ministerial appointment. He further claimed that he has not received the level of support Makinde allegedly got from Tinubu, including the reported 50 billion naira grant for victims of Bodija explosion in Ibadan, your state capital. So Makinde is alleging that his grounds with Wike is the fact that Wike unsolicited asked to hold forth PDP for President Tinubu, while Wike in his own words said it's untrue that Makinde is only angry because his ministerial nominee was not approved. So it's Wike's word against Makinde's word. So what's your take on this?
These politics, these people are politicians. They do what politicians do in places like Nigeria when it is leading up to elections. Their body language have indicated that Makinde may be contesting. We have seen his posters. We have seen things that indicate that he wants to contest for presidency, and he has not denied it. He has the right to contest, and we don't expect him to come and start celebrating. Not that we're saying Tinubu is we're not holding forth for Tinubu here. You understand? What I'm trying to say is that he most likely will contest against Tinubu. So we don't expect him to celebrate whatever it is that anybody is doing that is in support of Tinubu's government. We know that at a point in time, he and Wike were on the same camp, agitating for the presidency from the south, and that person that came up that they supported was Tinubu. Tinubu is there now. After some time, he lost interest in that, and he wants to be the candidate from the south himself. He's a Nigerian. He can contest if he wants. But I think this is more of politics than any other thing else. So I think we should look at it like that. These people are just politicians. They are playing politics. Let's see how it goes. You may be surprised that Makinde may emerge the president of Nigeria 2027.
Yeah, but it's politics. So, you may even be surprised. The Wike and Makinde may settle their differences, and they will be gallivanting across the country again as friends. So that's politics. Your view?
I told you clearly that when it has to do with the G5, I don't have much to say, because I believe from the way things are going, they knew what they are doing very well. And then again, and when we look at it this way, where the comment of Wike concerning the issue of Makinde being bounced back is ministerial, is the candidate. This is a personal view. We don't have anything to do with that because we knew very well we don't have any information like this. This is now at this time that is coming out. So, and also, if they have any differences with the president, that one is a normal thing. They will settle. He is the leader on the state, and the president is the leader beyond the party. They are still one or two. And again, for the PDP, at the federal level, they have a lot to do. They have a lot to do. And the card that Wike is bringing, sometimes Wike will come out to speak, it will become a little bit emotional, and people begin to see him as the right person, and then the other way around, the other camp will come out, speak their own, you begin to see the future in them. So it's more of a divided kingdom. So, and I want them to believe that whatever they are doing, they should know that election is ahead. And if they are ready to go for election, as for the masses, they have a lot of parties, and they are not ready, then people will do the needful. And again, his comment on the governor of the state concerning him going to the other party, that he's coming at the wrong time. To me, we should have more information to tell us concerning that, not this language that he's making use of. We've seen where a lot of guys are ready to go along with Fubara to the next party. So him coming to tell us that it is he has no consultant and he's coming at the wrong time and all these things it's just a way of saying things. You know, as you said, it's a regular person to the media. You just want to have one or two to just say, to bounce the word around. So let them come in the real picture to form what they want to form. And in case we knew, it is not a hidden thing that is working for the success of the leadership of today. Yeah. So if it's still anything that we can say, and no any reasonable PDP member will believe whatever he's saying, because we knew the picture very well.
And what Herbert said is true. And I believe that at a point in time, in the nearest future, they will have to come back and be together. The reason is, Wike has consistently been saying he is working for the success of the government and the person of President Tinubu. Now, if Wike, what is it called? If Fubara now has joined the camp of people who are working for the success of President Tinubu, what else would Wike do? At least another faction, another energy, another force has been joined to the force as already exists. So they are not actually fighting as it stands now, because they are all working for.
We knew very well that when we say they are fighting, we knew of a time where Fubara, the state assembly, were against the governor. And here we arrive at the time where even the members of the state assemblies are beginning to shift to the new party. So then what exactly are you saying?
Let me tell you, politics, the fact that you move to the same direction does not mean that you are friends. Even the fact that you move to the same direction may create more enmity. We have an example here in Taraba State that some people that were in the APC comfortable there, the moment the governor move,
they move out.
It becomes a burden to them because now their space has been taken. Yes. Let us take what Wike said. Let me just say what he said. He said, before the governor resigned from the PDP, about 22 chairmen of the local government in the states and half of the House of Assembly have left the PDP and joined the APC. The message is sending here is that those 22 chairmen are his loyalists. If they've moved
in APC,
from PDP,
if there is loyalists,
he didn't say in APC. This is political language. You should understand. They didn't move because of Fubara. They are his men. They moved before he moved. So the implication is that they are his men. They moved based on him, not because of Fubara. He also went ahead to say that Fubara did not move with any structure. He moved alone. It is very, very important you know this.
It can be inducted too.
No, he didn't say that. He said they moved. He didn't. Let's not that. See, let me come. I listened to Wike yesterday. He said, let me read. He said, before the government resigned from the PDP, about 22 chairmen of the local government area in the state and half of the National Assembly members have left the PDP and joined the APC. That's a neutral statement. What he's trying to say is that...
That is a supposed neutral statement.
Yeah. What he's trying to say is that they didn't move with you. They moved on their own. They may even be moving there to go and spoil your coming.
Now, let me ask.
Yes.
Is it possible
yes,
for those who moved before Fubara moved to be in APC to do anti-party. If they are
There's
not,
primaries, you don't need anti-party.
No, what-
They may knock you off. We've seen cases in Badiniju. We've seen people go to parties and they will walk you off the primaries.
now what I'm saying is, I'm looking forward to Fubara and Wike and whosoever that will be in APC or is already in APC now, to be truly loyal to the party. So that whosoever emerges as a flag bearer, the challenges that we have in PDP as we speak is as a result of some of these things.
Let me ask you a question. We have a discussion. Do you think Senator Wacha will now say, yes, we are here, this is our party, we are loyal to the party, the governor is here?
It's possible.
It is very hard. Have you already made any statement welcoming the governor?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's quite obvious. We may be in the same party. We may move, but we are moving for different reasons. Some people are moving to ensure that you don't take over.
But if your motive for moving becomes so big that it's bigger than the interest of the party, that's where the problem lies.
Yes.
So that's why I said, whosoever has left, all those members of the Assembly, National Assembly members, local government chairman that left the PDP to APC before the announcement of Fubara's defection, maybe there for a particular interest. But I'm looking forward to, at the end of the day, Rivers State citizens will enjoy, Nigerians will enjoy, because at the end of the day, it will be the overriding interest of the party. Anybody that emerges is capable, so long as he's not having any legal issues that will deprive him of becoming the governor. I think what we should concentrate on in this week's issue is whether the defection of Fubara is correctly done. Because he pointed out something, that Fubara's defection was not done in his word and other things like that, the state PDP.
No.
So I think if I
got it wrong there. There's a level you go to that your defection, and then you don't come, if you're a national elected official, you don't come from the ward. It comes, the defection comes at the state level, because now you are not it's just like the case of Senator, the members of reps from Central Taraba, from Gembura, who was suspended by his ward member. And the APC came out and said, no, he's an elected official. You can't suspend him at the ward level. It has to come as far as the state before decisions, if he was not elected official. So in the case of Fubara, the law, I think the constitution is this: he is an elected official. He doesn't move at the ward level; he moves at the state level. So those are some of the issues. That is why he is giving the membership number 0001. 0001 in the state is the number one member of the state, because the APC makes him automatically the leader of the party.
Which is fine. So we look forward to a more solid APC that will bring developments. I think PDP has failed the people of Rivers State over time, because in the past 2 years, the PDP-led government is described with crisis all over. So much so that they found themselves in a state of emergency. So in this APC clothes that they are not wearing, we look forward to now Wike is the only PDP member in the cycle. Members of Assembly are now in APC. Somehow the national APC chairman will call a meeting of APC, including the members of Assembly and Fubara, and Wike will not be there.
Yes.
So I look forward to a more statement. That's why I said in the first place that the statement that Wike made may be indicting. He may be the person causing the problem. Since these people are now in APC and we're waiting for them not to cause problem again, if they cause problem in APC, it means
you don't know loyalty. These guys have been with Wike for years. Wherever, if he sneezes, they catch cold. Their loyalty to Wike to take a lot Because if you look at the politics of Rivers, it has always been very deadly. That is why they call Rivers election rivers of blood. As a matter of fact, it was the politics of 2003 that led to the militarization of the Niger Delta, because it was elections of 2003 between the election between Sergeant Awuse and Peter Odili that led to weapons allegedly given out to talks, political talks. And after the 2003 elections, they didn't return this thing, and an opportunity came for agitation, and they began. Most of those agitators were talks, political talks, and it went to kidnapping, into agitation, militancy, and it didn't last. It lasted for so many years.
And you know something? Look at this paragraph, sir. Look at that paragraph. Talk about Nigerians know that in 2023 I supported the president. You've seen the paragraph. Shortly before.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Now look at that paragraph. Is this not indicting on Wike as to what Makinde said concerning him?
In 2023, what Makinde is saying that it is after election.
Now look at.
Now let me just clear. In 2023, they all agreed that they supported Tinubu.
Of course.
Only Otom did not.
Okay.
What Makinde is saying that after the election, they went to visit the governor, and then Wike made that statement. But in 2023, Makinde, Ugwai, Ikpeazu, and Wike, it was only Otom. He worked against the PDP, but he didn't work for the APC.
Now, go further. At a point, Makinde is asserting that Wike is the reason why PDP is destabilized as we speak. There was that allegation. Now, look at what Wike said here. He said, I am not doing kwana. Assembly people will not go. The National Assembly members will not go. That is leadership. I support President Tinubu with what the president is doing in Abuja. There is no way PDP will win next election at the FCC. What is that? He is an APC member wearing PDP's clothing. That is just it. So I think Makinde is right. Based on this statement.
Yes.
No, the issue of Wike, we should not be hiding under illusion. That is also
Wike will work for whatever the president wants. Not APC.
I'm very happy
whatever
with the statement of the APC chairman, where he mentioned that if Wike truly wants to come into the party, let him officially come. And then again, he should know that whenever he's coming into the party, as far as from Rivers State, the governor is the number one in the state.
And look at it, Mr. Hubbard.
Yes.
He said Wike now admitted that he is the one that gave permission to those legislators to speak. Yes, that is his voice. Now, is he saying that he did that because the president wants it? If it is so, how come the president does not want Wike himself to leave?
The PDP.
Only wanting the president.
That is high-level politics.
So I think Wike.
Sometimes you need your best soldier in the enemy's camp.
And it's coming on the issue of the local government chairman. To me, I find it that yes, on the side of the members of the House of Assembly, that one they can decide on their own because there are other bodies. But the members of the House of Assembly, the chairman of the local government, to some extent we know this is Nigeria. They are controlled to some extent by the government. So if we are seeing them also going to that very camp, changing parties, that is to say the governor also has some people that are aligning with him, not just him going alone.
You know the problem in Rivers is that some of these, the local government chairmen are unpicked by Wike.
Yeah.
You know, the election was done, they did one, it was cancelled, so they are unpicked. So in all this, whatever it is, Fubara may be given the official leader of the party, but may not have the structure within the party.
But it is.
I want to say something. It is just like Taraba State. The governor is the leader of the party, but we know those that hold structures, that if they pull it, one of your leg will surely come down. We know people that have structures in northern Taraba, in the APC. If they pull their support,
now,
as a leader, in the southern part, people like Senator Boacha, you need Jim Kuta, you need their support.
Yes.
If they pull it, even as a leader of the party, you may. So also in the central, you have people that, yes, they have their, this member, this APC member, if they pull their support, you may be leader in name, but not leader in terms of structure. They may work against you.
Of course.
Just like Boacha was worked to an extent. He was the leader of the APC during the election. He was their candidate. But we saw people...
Yes.
If at all we can ascertain that the authentic leader of leadership of the PDP is the Turaki-led...
it hasn't been ascertained.
I'm just trying to say, should by any chance it is ascertained that they are, it means they are sanctioning and suspicion of Wiki is correct based on these statements. You understand?
Then Wiki will ask you that how many of them have not gone for ADC meeting?
Well, at least if they've gone for ADC meeting, they've not come out to say, I am the one that gave this PDP member permission to join APC because of Tinubu.
You see, I just tell anybody, for now, if you have election to do, please don't contest under the PDP. I tell you, Ekiti State is an issue. They have 3 cases.
Of course.
If you don't resolve these legal issues going to court, and all of them have cases in court, the Turaki-led has case in court, Makinde has a case in court, Wiki has a case in court, and I think Sule Lamido may bring up his own case because now. So if they don't resolve these issues, from the way things are, they may not be able to field candidates in 2027. It will be disastrous for the opposition.
And I think time is running out. I keep saying this.
It will be disastrous if they don't resolve these issues. That even at the end of the day, if it is just one court case, but now you have
different cases
at variations.
Of course. So contesting in PDP, you may be popular, you may be able to win elections, but
your name may not appear on the ballot
paper.
That's what happened in Ekiti State, and that is why when people were saying that is one of the reasons why Adeleke had to leave. Just imagine his name may not appear on the ballot.
Let's see. It's getting more interesting.
It's getting more interesting. So this is the time for young people to go and take over the structure of the PDP, because I know if by 2027 there's no way out for the PDP, there's no sure this thing. Many of these heavyweights, they will leave. They will leave. I know them. They don't care. In the next minute, they join one party, they join ZXY, they contest, they go and support, they endorse another this thing. Then PDP still have structure across Nigeria.
And I was trying to say something earlier, then it skipped my mind, it came back now. You know, when we're talking about structure, and actually the truth is we have people who are already the foundations before this tsunami.
Yes.
And this tsunami too is not coming as a weekly. They are coming with their own force too. So there are chances that it is going to be a tussle. Strength fighting strength. So I'm looking forward to them meeting at the middle ground. They will be so reasonable that they will not allow what happened in PDP to happen in APC. You understand? I think the leadership of APC at the national level is so reasonable that they won't allow it to degenerate. So that when these two mighty forces start fighting, there is a way to mediate and apportion, you take this, you take this. Because if PDP had done give and take, they will not be in this problem they're facing.
You see, the APC, we have issues, primaries, but the problem is that they will not have issues that will make them not to be recognized, because they have a Congress that is recognized by law. They have leaders that are recognized by law. They've done their state congresses, and they've also done the convention. So even for the states that they've not done the congresses, if they do, it will hold because it will be done by just one body. Where the PDP missed it was when they had no chairman, and then the acting chairman, and then the issue of Anyanwu. The court keeps saying Anyanwu is the secretary. Anyanwu is this, go back to status quo. Anyanwu is the secretary. Anything, and the secretary must sign
And what is
any documents that come. So everything that was done without Anyanwu
becomes null and void.
Null and void.
So I keep asking, what is too much
became
in you
void.
accepting Anyanwu as the secretary? What is too much?
That was the now because of that, everything they did with acting secretary and national publicity, it became null and void.
Wow.
If at the easiest time was during that period, they should have brought back everything, let them work together, sign the documents, write to INEC, talk about the convention. Then there's the issue again that was raised about before you go for convention, they must have done the state congresses, because it is the state congresses that will produce
What you are taking to
what is taken. These 16 states have not done their congresses to date. So that means that you are disenfranchising 16 states, and anybody that goes from those 16 states is not properly constituted
As delegates.
because they must come. It is the congresses, the 36 congresses with the FCC 37 that will go for the convention. So these are issues that they are just there waiting for the PDP. And I know those who want to destroy the PDP, they have those facts, because the person making this fact, Wike was making those facts, and I know this man knows where to hurt the PDP. He really knows. When he said he's a lawyer, I now agree that yes,
He's a lawyer.
He's a political lawyer. He made that statement. He said the congresses leads to convention. 16 states have not done congress. So what convention have you done? May God help the PDP. May God help the PDP. Let us go on a break. When we'll come back, the morning show continues.
With purpose, to shop without stress, to send without fear, to pay without delay. For every rider chasing time, for every home that needs restocking, for every voice that needs connection, for every dream that needs delivery. Now, one app brings it all together.
Supercab, move smart, ride safe, supermarket, groceries, gadgets, everything. Supercash, airtime, bills, transfers, done. Super logistics, fast, secure, right to your door.
It's more than an app. It's your movement, your market, your money, your connection, all in one place. Supergo, one app for services endless. Download Supergo today. Live free, live fast, live smart.
No time to shop, no stress. With Supergo, your groceries comes to you. We partner with trusted vendors, verified stores, no delay, no excuses, just values. Supergo Supermarket, your market now in your hands. With Supergo, your ride is comfortable, easy, and convenient. Supergo is more than an app. It's a movement. Moving people, powering threats, delivering value.
Every day begins with a need.
280 and above in JAMB. At Taraba Business School, we can make your dream come through. Register now for our JAMB and CBT training. Intensive JAMB and WACE coaching classes with experienced teachers is ongoing. You will also be trained on computer-based training, CBT. Visit Taraba Business School today. We are located opposite Civil Service Commission, 183 Hamarua Way, Jalingo, Taraba State. You can call the following numbers for inquiries: 080 602 69140, 070 634 28464, 080 606 60861. Do you want to
story?
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
And every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. Hudson TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us
to the future we proudly define.
Sun TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Sun TV, cause of the nation. Africa, a land of truth, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story.
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
And every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. Hudson TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us
to the future we proudly define.
Sun TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Sun TV, cause of the nation. Africa, a land of truth, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story.
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
And every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. Hudson TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us
to the future we proudly define.
Sun TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Sun TV, cause of the nation. Africa, a land of truth, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story.
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
And every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. Hudson TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us
to the future we proudly define.
Sun TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Sun TV, cause of the nation. Africa, a land of truth, rhythm, and resilience.
Where every thread of the fabric tells a story.
Every beat of the drum echoes heritage.
And every voice carries the soul of generation.
We are Africa, bold, beautiful, and timeless. Hudson TV, we don't just tell African stories.
We celebrate it in every color, sound, and tradition.
From the past that shaped us
to the future we proudly define.
Sun TV, Africa, seen, heard, celebrated. Sun TV, cause of the nation.
280 and above in JAMB. At Taraba Business School, we can make your dream come through. Register now for our JAMB and CBT training. Intensive JAMB and WACE coaching classes with experienced teachers is ongoing. You will also be trained on computer-based training, CBT. Visit Taraba Business School today. We are located opposite Civil Service Commission, 183 Hamarua Way, Jalingo, Taraba State. You can call the following numbers for inquiries: 080 602 69140, 070 634 28464, 080 606 60861. Do you want...
With the second highest death toll of all African conflicts, the Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War, is perhaps the single most significant event in Nigerian history. This 3-year conflict, which raged on from the 6th of July 1967 till the 15th of January 1970, would claim the lives of over 100,000 soldiers and an estimated 2 million civilians, as the Nigerian government, led by General Yakubu Gowon, fought to prevent the secession of the self-proclaimed Republic of Biafra, which was led by General Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu. To fully understand the root cause of this brutal conflict, we need to go all the way back to the very beginning. Upon gaining independence from Great Britain in 1960, the newly formed Nigerian Republic was greatly divided, as its 3 largest ethnic groups struggled to live in harmony. Beyond the more obvious distinctions like language, clothing, and marriage customs, Nigeria's 3 main ethnic groups also had fundamental differences in values and worldviews, which had been developed over the many centuries leading up to the colonial era and the formation of the Nigerian state. The Igbos, who represented about 60 to 70% of the population of the southeast, were mostly Christians who, in the centuries before the colonial era, had lived in relatively egalitarian societies. Although most Igbo towns and villages were headed by monarchs known as Ezes, the political decision-making process within Igbo communities was actually quite democratic, as it involved general assemblies composed of title holders and other respected members of Igbo society. Status was acquired through one's ability to solve societal issues, and respect was given primarily to those who had acquired wealth, as opposed to those who had simply inherited it. The character of Okonkwo in the book Things Fall Apart by renowned Nigerian author Chinua Achebe was in many ways the perfect illustration of the uniquely Igbo vision of the self-made man. The Igbo's particular appreciation for wealth creation through hard work is undoubtedly the main reason why many of Nigeria's champions of industry have been of Igbo ancestry. By contrast, the majority Muslim Hausa Fulani, which represented about 65% of the northern population, had lived for many years in feudal societies in which large working-class populations were ruled by a small theocratic elite composed of emirs and sultans. As their political leaders often doubled as religious leaders, compliance and submission to the will of the political establishment was not simply a civic duty, but a religious one. Very much unlike in Igbo societies, there was nothing particularly odd or shameful about a man aspiring to live a modest life as a farm worker, craftsman, or a nomadic cattle herder. But contrary to commonly held prejudices, the Hausa Fulani were not in any way lazier or inherently less enterprising than their southern counterparts. They simply had a deeper appreciation for religious discipline and had a more socially conservative worldview. However, there is no denying the fact that while the unquestioning submissiveness of northern societies to the theocratic establishment guaranteed internal stability and order, it also meant that the north was a lot less economically vibrant. Northerners were generally less open to new ideas and often completely rejected secular education in favor of Islamic education. Demonstrating the extent of Nigeria's north-south divide, some studies estimated that as at Nigeria's independence in 1960, northern Nigeria had an English literacy rate of just 2%, compared to the southeast, which had an English literacy rate of 19.2%. The Yorubas, which formed about 75% of Nigeria's southwestern population, were in many ways a sort of halfway house between the Igbos and the Hausa Fulani, both in terms of their religious affiliation and their political history. Although also majority Christian, they nevertheless had significant populations of Muslims as well as followers of the ancient Yoruba religions. In simple terms, the traditional Yoruba political structure was basically less autocratic than the Hausa Fulani, but not as democratic as the Igbo. For centuries, Yoruba societies were ruled by kings known as Obas, who governed in close consultation with chiefs, priests, and priestesses. Culturally, the Yorubas were quite similar to the Igbo in their appreciation for individual drive and ambition. However, the Yorubas tended to channel their energies towards excellence in the arts and academia, as opposed to pure industry and wealth creation. Many often point to the Yoruba's deep appreciation of the arts as the reason why many of Nigeria's most prominent cultural icons, such as Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti and the Nobel Prize laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, have been of Yoruba ancestry. But to say that the differences between Nigeria's three main tribes meant that every Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa Fulani person hated anyone who wasn't from their tribe would be very far from the truth. In reality, most Yoruba societies got on well enough with Igbo societies. The main culture clash, if you like, was between the Hausa Fulanis of the north and the two major ethnic groups of the south. Prior to the colonial era, ancient Yoruba kingdoms such as the Oyo Empire had for many years suffered under several waves of jihadi attacks by the Islamic Sokoto Caliphate of the north, led by the famous Sultan Uthman Dan Fodio. Now, although the Igbos did not have a similar history of warring with the Hausa Fulani, the British colonial enterprise would create the perfect environment for the sharp differences between these two tribes to be brought to the forefront. In 1914, British High Commissioner Frederick Lugard effectively created the country we know today as Nigeria by bringing the northern and southern regions together in the now infamous Nigerian Amalgamation of 1914. Till this very day, the feeling amongst many Yoruba and Igbo historians is that one of the main purposes of this of the autocratic north. The theory goes that by joining the more educated and therefore less controllable southern region to the much larger northern region, the British government was better able to implement its policy of indirect rule, as the amalgamation essentially gave dominion over the entire country to the northern elites, who were significantly less rebellious and generally more amenable to British interests. It is also worth noting that from 1914 onwards, the British adopted a practice of placing northerners in key leadership positions within the colonial administration. Despite being generally better educated, Southerners were more often than not limited to managerial and executive roles within the colonial apparatus. When the struggle for Nigeria's independence began to take shape, it was mainly Yoruba and Igbo intellectuals such as the political activist Funmi Ransome Kuti and the renowned jurist Jaja Wachukwu that led the fight for Nigeria's sovereignty. According to some historians, many of the northern elites were not at all welcoming to the idea of an independent Nigeria, as they feared that independence would mean losing the privileged positions that they had enjoyed under the colonial structure. The story goes that as a condition for them agreeing to support the push for Nigeria's independence, the northern leadership specifically demanded that the new nation maintain its colonial political structure. And even though it pretty much guaranteed a continuation of the North's dominance, the Igbo and Yoruba leaders, in their desperation to gain independence at all costs, agreed to the North's demands. And so upon its independence on the 1st of October 1960, the Nigerian state was divided into three geopolitical regions, in which a disproportionately large northern region was united with two smaller eastern and western regions. Nigeria's British-style parliamentary government was led by its first and only Prime Minister, Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, the northern co-founder of his political party, the Northern People's Congress. Tafawa Balewa's NPC party governed in coalition with the Igbo-aligned National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, which was led by Nigeria's Governor-General, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the man who would later go on to serve as the ceremonial president of the First Nigerian Republic, which was established in 1963. The Yoruba-aligned Action Group Party, which was headed by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, played the opposition role. If unity was the goal, then the Nigerian state had gotten off to a very bad start. Nigeria's parliamentary system was a bit of a farce, as Nigeria's three main parties were not built around ideology, but on ethnic nationalism. With the vast majority of Nigeria's general population still largely unfamiliar with the Western-style democratic system of their new country, pretty much everyone voted based on ethnicity. The Southwesterners voted for the AG, the Southeasterners for the NCNC, and the Northerners for the NPC. And as the northern region was by far the largest constituency, the NPC was basically guaranteed control over Nigeria, as none of the other two parties could compete with the NPC's large northern voting base. As you can imagine, it was only a matter of time before the shoddy foundations on which the Nigerian state had been built began to show serious signs of strain. The entrepreneurial spirit of the Igbos would see many of them move out of their hometowns in search of all the opportunities their new nation had to offer. From Lagos to Benin, Port Harcourt, and even major northern cities like Kano and Kaduna, Igbos began to build businesses and pioneer new industries in the places they migrated to. But as is often the case with successful immigrants, it wasn't long before many of the locals, especially in the north, began to feel more than a bit uncomfortable with the success of their new neighbors.
One thing I've noticed, Premier, while I've been here, is that Northerners seem to have, I might almost call it, obsession about the Igbos. Could you perhaps explain that to me?
Well, the Igbos are more or less the type of people whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go to a village, to a town, they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to emerge as headman of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, our people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our northernization policy that in 1952, when I came here, there weren't 10 northerners in our civil service here. Then I tried to have it northernized, and now all important posts are being held by northerners.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the north solely with northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or a permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a northerner first. If you can't get a northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract. If we can't, then we can employ another Nigerian, but on contract too. This is going to be permanent, I should say, as far as I can foresee, because it will be rather dangerous to see the number of boys who are now turning from all our learning institutions coming out with having no work to do. I'm sure whichever government of the day might be, it will feel rather embarrassed, and it might even lead to bloodshed.
Doesn't this damage the idea, sir, of all people in all regions in Nigeria being fellow citizens of one country?
Well, it might, but you are, new to our region, but how many northerners are employed in the east or in the west? The answer is no. And if there are, there may be 10 laborers employed only in the two regions.
It was against this backdrop of rising anti-Igbo sentiment in the north that the chain of events that ultimately led to the Civil War would begin to unfold. By as early as the year 1966, most Nigerians had already begun to resent the ruling elite for their lavish lifestyles and lack of sensitivity to the concerns of the masses. Rumors about vote rigging, corruption, and backdoor deals between politicians and foreign companies began to spread, and there was a general sense of discontentment in the air. Deciding that enough was enough, Major Chukwuma Kaduna Nzeogo, an Igbo officer in the Nigerian army, instigated a revolutionary coup against the federal government. This coup would see the assassination of the Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa, the Premier of the Northern Region Sir Ahmadu Bello, as well as the Premier of the Western Region Chief Samuel Akintola. But rather suspiciously, the President, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, would manage to escape the bloodbath as he was out of the country on holiday when the coup took place. But despite the execution of many key members of the government, the coup led by Major Nzeogo was ultimately unsuccessful, as it was quashed by a different faction of the Nigerian army, led by Major General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi, who, interestingly enough, was also of Igbo ancestry. After managing to secure the surrender of the coup plotters, Aguiyi Ironsi was declared military head of state. But even though both the instigator and the stopper of the coup were of Igbo descent, various conspiracy theories began to spread in the north, suggesting that the entire thing was all part of an undercover master plan to put General Aguiyi Ironsi in power and transfer control of Nigeria over to the Igbos. Oddly enough, there was actually a fair bit of evidence in support of this theory. 4 out of 5 of the coup plotters were Igbo, and although Aguiyi Ironsi stopped the coup, he did not execute any of the coup plotters. To make matters worse, no significant Igbo leader was killed in the coup. President Nnamdi Azikiwe had avoided all the drama thanks to his suspiciously timed holiday, while Michael Okpara, the premier of the Eastern region, had also managed to survive the coup, even though he did end up losing his job to Colonel Chukwuemeka Ojukwu, the man who would later go on to lead Biafra's attempt to break away from Nigeria. These anti-Igbo conspiracy theories would eventually grow from mere rumor and conjecture to an article of faith in the minds of many Northerners. And on the 29th of July 1966, a group of Northern Army officers instigated a counter-coup against the Ironsi administration. Unlike the previous one, this coup was successful. Major General Aguiyi Ironsi was assassinated, and Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu Gowon, a Northerner, was installed as Nigeria's new military head of state. Unfortunately, the northern retaliation would not end there. In the 3 months following the coup, an estimated 8,000 to 30,000 Southeasterners living in the north would be attacked, killed, and robbed by local mobs. Fearing for their lives, over 1 million Southeasterners fled back to their homelands, leaving behind businesses, homes, churches, and in some unfortunate cases, children that had been the fruit of inter-ethnic marriages. With the deluge of refugees flooding back into the eastern region with shocking stories of betrayal and trauma, the Nigerian project was on the brink of collapse. As many Easterners no longer felt safe in other parts of Nigeria, the military governor of the Eastern region, Colonel Ojukwu, began to call for Igbos from all around Nigeria to return home. Rumors about the Eastern region's impending breakaway from Nigeria became front-page news after it was reported that a plane carrying imported weapons had crashed in the eastern city of Enugu. Knowingly or unknowingly, Colonel Ojukwu essentially confirmed all rumors with a series of rousing criticisms of the Gowon administration's failure to provide adequate protection to the thousands of Igbos who were being attacked and killed by people they imagined were their fellow citizens. With tensions at an all-time high, General Yakubu Gowon and other key members of the government agreed to meet with Colonel Ojukwu at a neutral location so that both sides could try to de-escalate the situation. This two-day meeting will take place in the Ghanaian town of Aburi from the 4th to the 5th of January 1967. To Gowon's great surprise, Colonel Ojukwu took the meeting very seriously and was very well prepared. He set out very clearly all of the Eastern region's demands, which included greater political autonomy, greater control over the revenue from the Southeast oil deposits, and also a restructuring of the Nigerian army in a way that devolved powers to the regions and got rid of the unfair recruitment quota system, which had allowed for a disproportionately large number of Northerners to join the Nigerian army. Although many still debate what exactly was agreed at this meeting, General Ojukwu left Aburi fully convinced that Gowon had accepted all of the Eastern region's demands. This controversial agreement, known today as the Aburi Accord, was not honored by the Gowon administration. Upon returning to Nigeria, General Yakubu Gowon decided instead to break Nigeria's regions into smaller states and turn Nigeria into an American-style federation composed of 12 states. Except unlike in the American system, each state had very little autonomy and very little control over its own resources. For many in the southeast, this was the last straw. With the Gowon administration having put its cards on the table, Colonel Ojukwu's mind was made up. He proceeded to consult with the various chiefs and traditional rulers of the eastern region, and on the 30th of May 1967, Ojukwu officially announced the secession of the eastern region and the establishment of the state of Biafra. And with the support of many key members of the southeastern leadership, Colonel Ojukwu cut all ties with the Nigerian army and was proclaimed General Ojukwu, Biafran President and Commander-in-Chief of the Biafran Army. The declaration of Biafra's secession was celebrated in the streets. For many, the establishment of Biafra was a long-awaited restoration of the pre-colonial sovereignty of the region. and the beginning of a bright new dawn for its people. But unfortunately, the celebrations would be short-lived, as the Nigerian government's response was to declare war on Biafra. And although the Biafran army had no air force, no navy, and a chronic shortage of weapons and manpower, General Ojukwu was surprisingly optimistic about his new nation's ability to withstand the Nigerian army.
If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right, it will for us be the price of freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, that the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long. I can't say for certain what Lagos has got. When we lost direct contact with Lagos, they had some 4 battalions, ill-equipped, and I know that they have been purchasing a lot of arms since, and I know that they have negotiated and received a few armored vehicles. Prior to that, they had some scout cars. I know they have tried to get planes. I am not sure they have got them there. But on our side, we too have not been sitting quietly. There has been quite a lot of build-up. And I think what I have here is sufficient to maintain the integrity of Biafra and more.
But putting aside General Ojukwu's confident fighting talk, the reality of the matter was that Biafra was by far the underdog in this fight. The Nigerian military was larger, better funded, better trained, and had secured the support of Britain and other world powers. The expectation in Lagos was for the war to be over within a matter of weeks, or in the very worst case scenario, 6 months. But much to the surprise of the Nigerians, the Biafran army would prove a lot more resilient than they could have ever imagined. Despite being composed of a largely untrained and unskilled group of young men and teenage boys, the Biafrans would manage to withstand the Nigerian onslaught for 3 brutal years. The early campaigns of the Nigerian forces were quite successful, as they quickly managed to reclaim significant Biafran cities and monuments. But after nearly a year of fighting, the war reached a stalemate as the Biafran army began to stand its ground and maintain control of key cities and towns. Within the nation itself, the civilian population tried to carry on living life as normally as they could. With most of the men and boys on the battlefront, it was up to the women to manage the day-to-day running of the country. But as the war raged on, any hopes that the civilian population had of continuing to live their normal lives began to fade away. With both sides unable to reach an agreement, despite several attempts at peace talks, including one in Ethiopia presided over by Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie. The Gowon administration came to the very reckless conclusion that the only way to break the deadlock would be to trigger its nuclear option. The Gowon-led forces mobilized to impose an economic blockade on Biafra, which blocked the flow of all food and ammunition supplies by land, air, and sea. This move would turn out to be perhaps the single most destructive political decision in West African history, as it would ultimately lead to the death by malnourishment of an estimated 2 million civilians, most of whom were children suffering from the protein deficiency disease known as kwashiorkor. You see, prior to the war, dietary protein in the Biafran diet primarily consisted of locally sourced seafood, as well as dried stockfish, which was imported from Norway. Other sources of protein such as chicken, pork, and beef were generally only enjoyed on special occasions, as they were often too expensive for the wider population. But as the blockade prevented the importation of Norwegian stockfish, and also restricted the local fishermen's access to the seas, the region's protein supplies were quickly depleted, and the national diet was reduced to almost 100% starch. As the war took place around the golden era of TV media, the images of millions of malnourished Biafran children projected on TV sets worldwide would be one of the global community's earliest introductions to the now infamous trope of the starving African child. Although the Nigerian government strategy was indefensible, it is important to point out that the government's supposed reasoning at the time was that the blockade would be nothing more than a short, sharp shock, and that General Ojukwu, seeing the immense suffering of his people and the dwindling ammunition of his frontline soldiers, would have no other choice but to surrender. However, what the Nigerians had failed to realize was that the Biafran state had secured the support of a foreign benefactor of its own. Although the only countries to publicly recognize the state of Biafra were Tanzania, Gabon, the Ivory Coast, Zambia, and Haiti, Charles de Gaulle's France had taken a secret interest in Biafra as it saw it as the perfect addition to its sphere of influence in West Africa. According to French President Charles de Gaulle, Biafra was a just and noble cause, and so working closely with the French-aligned governments of the Ivory Coast under President Félix Houphouët-Boigny and the Gabonese Republic, led by President Omar Bongo, the French government helped to prolong the war by providing Biafra with weapons, mercenary fighters, and as much food as could be smuggled past the Nigerian blockade. France also publicized Biafra's cause on the international stage, describing the situation as nothing short of a genocide. The eventual discovery of France's involvement in the war would lead to protests on the streets of Lagos, with many accusing the French government of being the real reason why the war had continued, despite the fact that the Biafran forces had very little chance of overcoming the Nigerian military. But did France really get involved in the war simply because Charles de Gaulle considered Biafra to be a just and noble cause? Well, not exactly. France's involvement was all about economics and had very little to do with some romantic desire for the Biafran people to share in the French ideals of liberté, égalité, and fraternité. Later investigations will show how the French state-owned oil company ELF had secured lucrative drilling agreements with the Biafran state. Had Biafra successfully seceded from Nigeria, these agreements would have guaranteed ELF access to the equivalent of 7% of Nigeria's oil supply, and given the French government a nice slice of the Nigerian pie, which since the discovery of oil back in 1956 had been enjoyed solely by the Shell BP oil company. Although the French government tried to keep its ties to Biafra secret, General Ojukwu did very little to hide his country's French connection. From as early as the first year of the war, General Ojukwu had already begun to suggest that French would be made compulsory in Biafran secondary, technical, and teacher training schools. In his own words, he was very keen for his people to benefit from the rich culture of the French-speaking world. As the death toll began to rise exponentially, the whole world was becoming more aware of the level of carnage and immense suffering of the Biafran people. The Nigerian diaspora was galvanized, and protests and counter-protests began to take place on the streets of London and New York. Some Nigerians blamed General Ojukwu for the deaths of his own people, arguing that by continuing in a war that he knew fully well he could not win, he was putting his personal ambition ahead of the lives of millions of people. But for many in the Biafran diaspora, the economic blockade was nothing short of a vicious genocide aimed at exterminating the Igbo people once and for all. Another accusation that was thrown at General Ojukwu was that the only way he managed to cajole his army and his people to continue the fight for Biafra was by reporting stories of false victories and by giving false guarantees about the imminent end of the war. On the Nigerian side, the government continued to double down on its position. Despite reports of horrific levels of death and suffering, the Gowon-led government refused to blink first and continued to accuse General Ojukwu of killing his own people by lying to them about their chances of winning the war.
I do not wish to say anything on this occasion that might be regarded as prejudicial to the peace talks now going on in Kampala, Uganda. But in the words of Mr. Asika, the rebel leaders ought to know when enough is enough. They should call a halt to the shameless deception of innocent Igbos with reports of fictitious victories on the battlefronts. They should appreciate that the so-called diplomatic recognition by dubious characters cannot, in the least, alter the course of Nigerian history. It is sheer wickedness for Ojukwu and his clique to continue to goad innocent citizens to support rebellion and lay down their lives for a cause that is not just.